Hey guys, Artilla Boy here. Today we're going to be doing another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Katana Machete, Tactical Katana Machete. That's what the name of the thing is. You know, the one I bought. So let's begin the sword, shall we? Oh man, let's go talk about the blast from the past. And I mean blast from the past, I mean like 10 years ago. 2013 out there. Yeah, kind of, but as you can definitely know, this was before gone from yes, as you can definitely know, this was like the full circle before I collect, collecting these guys and military surplus gear. I was basically collecting swords and knives out there, and as you can definitely know, this was basically like the full circle out there. So I was basically wanting to get a katana out there, since I like that kind of weapons out there. So I found this at the antique store. I didn't bought one at the antique store for the reasonable of a price out there. So the katana that I was wanting to get, which is from Onakiri, which I had the pamphlet for it, which I'll do a review of it. And as you definitely know, this this good sword out there was costing around about nearly to $100. Oh no, $100. Oh, to be fair, I basically bought $100 sword, which I'll show you after this little story. So I couldn't get it. So I decided basically I was really wanted a sword out there. So this came into my life. I mean, well, I went on eBay and I paid it around about like $30. Yeah, I'll talk about this later, but when I basically tested this out, I was a little disappointed. Now, I wanted to get this because of the style of the sword. I mean, it actually looks pretty cool out there, but sharpness, no, not a good sharp out there. So, in order to basically, be disappointed out there, buying something a little better out there, I paid $100 for something like this. And yes, this one was in the description saying like it can cut through tree, which it turns out it's much more like bamboos and tree branches. 1060 carbon steel. So it was pretty funny out there. But this was basically, so let's get started on it with the sheath itself. The sheath is basically nylon, and you could definitely know from the probably the center of it actually had like throwing knives, which unfortunately I lost these. I couldn't find these, so that's kind of a big bummer. But they're kind of like those kunai knives, the one with the double edge out there, that has like the handle with the ring on there. That's what it looks like. So this is made from nylon, and oh yeah, this thing. Let me just show you why I think this was pretty a bad sheath out there, from a bad sheath. So every time I put this sword in, this is what will happen. I will basically, and this is like barely at the end point, and yeah, that's the tip of the sword out there. It actually keeps poking holes out there that it managed to make a bigger hole. Yeah. Let me put that away because I don't want to damage any of this. So you also have padding inside of this, and oh gee, yeah, there's barely any pad in this thing. And yes, it's nylon, and it's actually falling apart. This thing, like, it's like falling apart. Velcro to hold the throwing knives, which, okay. With a pretty small strap. Funny part, this is nearly to the thing out there. Let me see if I can. Since well, typically I had a pretty small body, so it's kind of really funny to look at it. So let me just see if I can expand it or. Oh, yeah, that. No, but come to think about it. Yeah, this was the biggest I could expand towards, since, well, not only have a small body out there, I also have, like, couldn't even fit on this. Yeah. Again, nylon, which, and that looks definitely falling apart. Oh no, that's from the sword. Oh geez, I can't believe it's. Oh my god, it's actually from the sword, isn't it? Yeah, pretty crappy. Oh, funny part about it, this was supposed to have like a little button on there. Since that fell apart. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty garbage sheath out there. I was gonna talk about the sword. Well, okay, I'm gonna talk about this. If I find the throwing knives, I'll definitely do a separate video on this. But in the meantime, I'll just basically, for no reason, we'll just we'll do it without the throwing knives. So the sword itself, this is more likely for the wakizashi than a katana out there, because a katana is actually pretty big out there. So there's a ring around it, made in China. Oh, funny part about it, the handle to this broke off. Yeah, the full handle basically fell apart. So it's basically basically wrapped in tape. Cursed as I possibly can get. You got this strange handguard. I mean, I'm gonna be honest here, that looks pretty bad. Well, it's barely have a handguard, or which it's really bizarre out there. So there you got is 4 bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 bumps on this, which there's no purpose. I don't know what purpose it for. You got a bunch of holes in there, which it looks like it can break apart easily. I mean, something with something similar to a zombie tools, that could definitely would cut open out there. And of course the tip. Oh yeah. Funny part about this whole thing, I sharpened it. I sharpened to the point to actually cut a single water bottle. And after that, it barely kept its edge. So, and yeah, to see that burnt end on this, like you could see the burnt, like that whole burnt end, that was basically me sharpening this thing to the point of, actually being sharp. And so the steel itself is 440 stainless steel, which, I mean, come to think about it, I don't know why did I bought this. I'm just basically begging me the question of why did I bought this? Just for more of fear of missing out of wanting a cool sword because of that? That's my fault out there, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna get laughed on by this whole basically regretting buying this. It's actually regrettable, like the Cyclone. They say the Cyclone that on my last knife review, or rather pocket knife review, which I was basically wanted ninja stars, but now this is just, I think, embarrassing. Very embarrassing, like the pretty much any crappy sword I bought. Hell, it's actually worse, like the Mall Katana. But the thing about difference between the Mall Katana and this actually is full tang, unlike the. Let me go show you the Mall Katana itself. Unlike this one here, yeah. Oh, trust me, you'll see why. Funny story about this, which I bought this for $25, which is another embarrassment I bought. And the difference are out here is, yeah, the comparison between these is basically pretty much similar to it. I mean, it's a little bigger, the Mall Katana is. But the thing about it is, and I'll just tell you about why this one is embarrassing too. So, this, I paid $25 for it. I was basically on a trip to Arkansas, actually the same year, 2013. But the thing about it is, I was pretty perfectly well with this guy here, and even this guy that I paid $50 on. Yeah, so I paid. I know I'm a little amateurish at worst out there. So when I was at the hotel, and even in fact opening a Lego set. Yes, it's a one of those Galaxy Conquest sets. It's that Galaxy Conquest set with the bug crawler thing. I forgot the name of it, but it actually has like that cool like catapult. I don't have the set anymore, but I was basically opening the box and I'm just like testing out how sharp this thing is. When I basically tried, basically opening the box, it actually broke. And reason why? Let me pull this out. Why this is embarrassing. Take that little screw off, and it takes revealing the disturbing truth of it. You see this? That's the tang twisted out there. And the funny part about it is the part where it that holds this thing, the sheath out there, the scabbard, it broke into 3 pieces. The handguard fell off, and I threw some of the parts away on there. Yeah. Unlike this one, it's full tang, and I'll before, if I basically review this, I can definitely know my final verdict on this piece of junk. Basically a 1 out of 10, an epic fail. Don't buy it. Don't buy this piece of junk. Just basically save the money and buying a better sword. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. But if I get to this after I throw this away, even if I didn't throw this thing away, it definitely will be. I think I could break it, but you know what? Never mind. And the part about it, actually, its soul basically broke off. That you could see the big old split in there. Yeah, and it's not even that sharp. Yeah, barely sharp at all. A butter knife is basically a much more sharper knife than this. Yeah, we're gonna see the last of this. Oh, the handguard is actually much different than the fire hydrant, which I'll show you the fire hydrant one. The handguard is much different than this fire hydrant. Fire hydrant, as they basically call this as the fire hydrant handguard, because Actually, funny part about it, my cousin handed me this. Actually, he handed me like 2 sets of these. Which actually, no, it's like 3 sets of these. Which, yeah, I've got to say this out here from anyone. If I ever touch on these ever again, you could definitely know the verdict rating. Yeah, 1 out of 10. Don't buy it. So, let's begin the test of it. Let's begin. Oh, another thing I want to bring up. This is in fact there's actually in fact the Tanto, or rather the Katana variant. There's actually exist of a double-edged version, and there's like there are multiple colors out there. Like one that I kind of like was the one with the red edge on there. I don't know. I like that kind of stuff out there, but there's actually a lot of variants out there, and even the red, white, and blue, the USA version. Yes, the USA. Basically, even though it's like another common one of those crappy knives out there where they basically had that, even though they're still stainless steel pieces of junk. Yeah. Oh yeah, also the ball katanas are basically 440 stainless steel piece of junk. And here's the thing that's part of the sword itself. The throwing knives. Yeah, these pieces out there have the same steel. And it's basically of 5 inches. Yeah, 5 inches. And for similar to a, yeah, and it's basically pretty thin out there. I mean, it's really thin. But what's actually why they're part of the set? There's little pouches out there that comes with it. And the reason why these aren't part of the thing. I just put them on there because they can get lost easily. And it's not really as sharp out there. So let's begin testing these out. pretty thin out there, but the damage on these is, well, not good. I mean, it could do some scratches around, and I know these are actually like pushing in the thing, like similar to a specific weapon that has that same style out there, push dagger. So the verdict on that throwing knives is, well, I'm gonna have to be honest here. Possibly going to be a 4 out of 10 for not the damage itself, but kind of really much more of like a throwing knife style out, or throwing knife out there. And, oh man, my apologies for basically having the worst throws out there. They're terrible. And now let's get to the sword itself. Well, the results not good. I mean, it just basically feels like you're just more of a glorified whacking stick than like an actual sword. And I kid you not, this edge barely keeps its edge. Yeah, $30 for a sword that's, well, 440 stainless steel. Yeah. I might as well go use something much more useful, like my bare hands is more sharper than this sword. Like, this has barely kept its edge out there. Yeah. 440 stainless steel kept its edge. Well, barely keep an edge. So, yeah. More likely being a glorified poking stick than like a sharp sword. Yeah. This was, let me just show you. It's ridiculous. Funny thing about it, when this didn't work, I actually had my motivation of, yes, unironically, having a reason why to save up my money to basically paying, a 1060 carbon steel sword. Rather kept its edge out there. In fact, surprising thing about it, this one actually kept its, show the camera focus that's on the, it actually kept its edge. That's how good it was. And it makes me just think this is a complete joke. This is much more of, well, you get what you paid for. Would you rather pay $30 for something that can't even barely kept its edge? And barely, well, no, it was maybe just this force out there for a result of basically a glorified poking stick. Basically, yeah, full tank, that's good, which mine's did not have. Well, this one actually fall apart. For something that is cheaply made, or you could basically paying the extra bucks out there that will bring a bang to your buck. In fact, it's actually much more, if you pay extra dollars on this one, you basically will get a better sword that can actually cut through this. So, prepare for the final judgment on this. Well, the final verdict on this tactical Katana Machete will basically get a solid 3 out of 10. Yes, 3 out of 10. Cool design, sure, but tactical wise, it's more like one of those crappy mall katanas that, oh, trust me, I will, those guys will be next. Oh, man, those guys will be next. Yeah, it's more likely a glorified mall katana or a wall hanger. Glorified wall hanger versus the real battle ready, the real 1060 carbon steel sword. Yeah, you pay the extra money, you'll be bang your buck. So that wraps up this wraps up the Katana Machete, tactical Katana Machete. So I'm Artilla Boy, and I'll see you guys next time.